what do I need to email to my database? And it's a lot easier when you've got a process to follow. So today I'm going to talk about the 3 types of emails we need to send out in order to promote our webinar. 3 types of emails that are going to get people engaged and registered. A type of email that's going to make sure that people actually show up. And then an email that's going to enable you to reconnect with your audience. How does that sound? I trust that sounds good to you guys. So let's talk about the first type of email sequence. This is the lead generation email sequence. So we start off with the invitation email. This is a very simple email and letting your audience know, or your potential participants know, that you're running an event or you're running a webinar. In this email, what we really need to do is talk about the details of that webinar. What is the description? What's going to be happening, the times, the dates, and obviously the link to register. The second email in that sequence is our engagement email. Now this email is to really help either dispel a myth or pinpoint the problem that you know your audience are facing and why and how you're going to address that myth or that problem in your webinar. So that's email number 2 in the lead gen sequence. Email number 3, and this is a hard one for a lot of people to write because we don't like to blow our own horn, but we have to. And this is the authority email. This email is all about you. Why you, and why are you the best person to be running this webinar? Why are you the best person to dispel the myth or to deal with the problem? And finally, a reminder email. That is the final email in the lead generation sequence. It's the reminder email, and this is simply to remind people that it's coming up and put a sense of urgency on it. So that is your lead gen sequence. Once you've got that lead gen sequence set up and going out to your database, we can create your nurture email sequence. This is simply to make sure people show up to your webinar. It's all well and good getting them to register, but especially if it's a free webinar, we need to make sure that they show up. And so in this nurture sequence, we need to first and foremost send an email directly after registration. This email thanks them for registering and has the access details to your webinar in it. Your next email that we'd send, I'd send it the day before the event, reminding them that the webinar is coming up. And finally, one that's 2 hours before the event. Now, a simple trick here is if you're using a ticketing platform such as Eventbrite or Humanitix, you can actually set those platforms up to do the nurture sequencing for you. So this one is really quite simple. And the final type of email that we need to send out are our follow-up emails. Remember, we don't follow up, we leave 80% of our business in the room. So we must follow up. And we need to follow up with the attendees and the absentees. So with the attendees, we send them an email thanking them for coming along to the webinar. We include a feedback form link inside that, and we let them or remind them of a call to action. So if you had a call to action inside your webinar that might be to book a call with you, then remind them of that call to action. The other people that we send an email to are the absentees. These are the people that registered but didn't come for whatever reason. And so here we need to let them know that we missed them. So say that. We missed you, and then let them know of the next upcoming event, webinar that is similar to or the same as the one that you've just run. Now, if you can get these email sequences pre-prepared and saved in a file somewhere, it will make it a lot easier for you to continue to roll out these emails without having to stress every single time about what do I send my database in order to make sure that they come along to our webinar. So there you have it. I trust that These 3 types of emails, your lead gen email, your nurture email, and your follow-up email, have helped you to understand what process you can implement in your event and webinar promotion strategy in order to make sure that people register, that people come along, and that people take the next steps with you. Thanks so much for tuning in to another Wednesday Wisdom live video. As always, remember, you were born to influence your industry. I'd love to hear your thoughts, your feedback, your comments on this, and please do share this if you think that this would be of value to somebody else. Thanks again for tuning in. It's been lovely to be joined by you.